Welcome to the Scalpel of Truth, the podcast providing cutting insight on how to rise to the top in the medical aesthetics industry with your host, Leisa Krauss, aka the Bitchin' Beautician. That's Leisa with an E, which stands for explicit, because in this surgical suite, she won't sugarcoat the truth, and yes, there will be some seriously salty language, not suitable for sensitive souls, children, nor pets. As a business consultant, Leisa shares the knowledge and lessons she's gleaned over 30 years in the industry. Time spent working directly with patients, managers, and med spa owners alike. Her practice growth strategies are sharp, her stories and wit sharper, and her panache for bringing the spice the sharpest. So buckle up, bichachos. Leisa is about to slice and dice another episode of The Scalpel of Truth.
Hello, bichachos. Welcome back to another episode of The Scalpel of Truth. I'm your host, Leisa, aka the Bitchin' Beautician, and today we're slicing into a topic that I absolutely love and am totally obsessed with. We are talking all about hosting purchasing events at your med spa. Guys, this is my total jam. So grab your favorite bevy, settle in, and let's get this party started. Here's the legal part I need to read. This podcast is presented solely for educational entertainment purposes. Guys, I'm just your beauty business bitch. I'm not a licensed therapist or an HR representative, nor am I a lawyer. This platform's used to share my experiences with what's made me a successful service provider, a manager, and a business consultant for those who I coach. Got it? Beautiful. Guys, first things first, let's talk about why to have an event in the first place. There are many reasons, so I want to go over high level some of the main reasons that you should be looking at having an event for. So the first thing, stating the obvious, is going to be boosting revenue. So purchasing events are a fantastic way to increase revenue in a short period of time. So by creating a sense of urgency and exclusivity, patients are more likely to make purchases they've maybe been considering for quite some time. Or on the other hand, it could be leading them into more impulse purchases, things that they love that they didn't even know they needed, right? Then we've got patient engagement and loyalty. Events provide excellent opportunities to engage with people on a personal level. They foster a sense of community and loyalty within your patient demographic, and patients feel valued and appreciated, which obviously is going to lead to repeat business and referrals for you. Another great reason is showcasing new products and services. So any type of event is ideal for introducing new treatments, launching a device, a membership, introducing products, maybe a new product line that you have, or signature series bundles or packages. So patients can learn about and experience the latest offerings in a very classy, interactive environment, and that's going to increase the likelihood of them trying something new. Patients love to be the first to try the latest and greatest things. So why not make that with you? Then another obvious one is attracting new patients. So patient acquisition. Events are great for that. It draws the attention of those who are maybe curious, but haven't committed to trying anything with you yet. I'm a huge fan of a bring a friend event because let's be honest, nobody wants to be the sun-damaged, wrinkly, dehydrated bitch of the friend group. Right? Friends don't let friends age poorly. Am I right?
No.
It gives you a captive audience, a chance to highlight your expertise with your treatments, your procedures. It really gives potential patients an ability to see and experience what you have to offer firsthand. Another one is educational opportunities. Events are going to inform guests about the latest advancements in treatments and ingredient-rich skincare. Educated patients are always more likely to make better choices and buy into what you're offering. So education opportunities are key at events. Obviously, you got to have sell-through. You know how I feel about education. You can educate all fucking day long. And if you don't close, you're not going to sell shit. The next up is personal consultations. Depending on the type of event you have, you can offer one-on-one private consultations. And this allows your patients to discuss their specific needs with your experts and your clinicians without having to ask questions in like a group of people. So in that group setting, sometimes that can be a little uncomfortable for patients. So a one-on-one personal consult, depending on your event type, right? If it's a VIP event and you've got like 20 people, Then you can do personal one-on-one consultations. If you've got 250 people, you're not doing one-on-one personal individual consultations. Okay. There's ways to do that that are effective and ways to do it that make you look like an inexperienced ass. Another thing events do is they build relationships. That's with your current patients and your potential patients. It provides an opportunity to involve other professionals also in the beauty industry or the wellness industry, potentially leading to collaborations or referrals. So I can give you an example of that would be like fitness facilities or hair salons. These businesses typically have the same demographic as we do, right? Let's be real. You wear your hair and face with every outfit you own. So obviously it's a natural fit, and industry professionals, we basically go hand in hand. So sometimes you can network with these other professionals to use their database or include them in some way. Another great and obvious reason is to fill your bank accounts and your schedule. So by offering specials and event-only pricing, things like draws, enticements, time-limited offers, promotions, all the things that the college hates, and savings are going to encourage bookings and boosting your revenue. We need to talk like sidebar here. When you're talking about events, the biggest pet peeve I have is when people say the word discount. Patients love saving money, and I want you to be sure that none of my bachachos are saying the word discount. Discounted services are for back alley, bargain bin basement clinics who compete on price and have a very low-level skill set. Honestly, like in fact, every time you say the word discount, I want you to go and lick a bar of soap, okay? You're classy as fuck. You're happy to trade savings for loyalty, but you are not discount, my friend. So there's many reasons why we should have purchasing events and why I think they're great. But that said, events are not for everybody. And you know I'm a truth teller. So I want to go over some of the reasons that people don't like hosting events or that people shouldn't host events. Let's be real. Events are a shit ton of work. So piss poor planning equals piss poor results. In my opinion, you need at least a minimum of 6 weeks to plan a phenomenal rave-worthy event. If you've got 8 or 10, that's amazing. The folks that plan an event in 4 weeks or less have a greater chance of looking like it was planned in 4 weeks or less. You don't have enough space. Maybe that's another reason. Maybe you're a solopreneur, so maybe an event isn't ideal for your setup or your med spa, or maybe you rent a room out of a hair salon. Maybe you just aren't set up or equipped for that, and maybe an online purchasing event is something that would work better for you. There's still ways to do it. Trust me. Another reason that maybe you shouldn't do it is your team is a bunch of clock-punching paycheck collectors who only do the bare minimum. Okay? You need a team to help you with this. So if this is the case, also reach out to me so that we can do some consulting together and I can help you grow a backbone and fire the lazy boat anchors from your practice. You deserve better, and quite frankly, so do your patients. Another reason not to have an event is that you're a cheap ass or a broke ass and you're on your last dime and you're thinking, well, I guess we're going to just do our last hoopla to see who we can get in for treatments. If events are done poorly, you're going to find yourself in need of some serious reputation management, which is exactly what you do not need. If you're a licensed professional, you need to be mindful of the rules and regulations of your governing body. So each country, province, and state are going to have their own compliance guidelines. Okay? So one thing I would probably check in with is seeing what your guidelines are with your governing body. Like there's nothing worse than profiting hugely from your event, but then having to say goodbye to half of it due to fines or something like that. Hashtag should have done my fucking research. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the time of year we're hosting events. So Q2 and Q4, great for having events. Q1 is okay if you're doing kind of a love your skin around Valentine's Day, obviously not held on Valentine's Day, okay? Q3, not the best for events. Typically, they're not well attended. There's ways to make them so, and there's planning that needs to be done. But July and August, people love going on vacation. So your patients are on vacation. Your staff is typically on vacation. This is where I love and prefer doing flash sales. And I would make those flash sales usually for members only. So I'm hoping you got a membership. But there's ways to generate revenue or do some fun things that still have you high-end and classy and not giving the dreaded discount, even in the dreaded summer slump. So let's not forget about the time of month that you're planning this. So you want to aim for mid-month. I want you to aim between the 15th and the 24th of the month. This is when people have received their mid-month paycheck and are not yet drowning in bills, okay? So this is when statistically they're most likely to splurge on themselves, and strategic timing can be the difference between a meh event and a sold-out bash. Now on to something equally as important. That would be your RSVP list. Guys, trust me, the days of throwing the doors open, hoping for the best, are long gone. You need a solid head count because nothing says we're amateurs and we didn't plan very well like running out of food, drinks, and those coveted swag bags. An RSVP list, it's going to help you know exactly how much inventory to bring in, how much food and beverage to have on hand. A fed guest is also a happy guest. A happy guest is more likely to open their wallet. So it's really important that we know who's coming to our event. We also need to talk about the flow of the event. So picture this. A flood of people come walking through the door at once, attacking your buffet, forming an endless line at checkout. Chaos and mayhem do not convey expert vibes, folks. Honestly, I've been to some shit shows when it comes to events. Sometimes they're big parties, and then we look and it was like, oh, everyone had an amazing time. And then we look and it's like, oh, but nobody fucking bought anything and we didn't make any money. In fact, we are now 10K in the hole and threw a party for our patients, which I don't think a gratitude party for patients is a bad thing, but there's a way to do it. I also think looking at booking time slots is another game changer. That's going to help you with this, whether you do it on Eventbrite or whatever you have for planning events where people can schedule times so that you're not running into that. You want to be steady Eddie for the entire duration of your event. By staggering the arrivals, you're going to be able to keep everything manageable. So you're going to avoid overcrowded spaces, food shortages, and you won't have impatient patients that are affected by that patient experience and having a lineup where they're standing in 15 people deep because you're cashing people out and it's taken a long time. And all of a sudden they've got buyer's remorse because they've been standing in the damn lineup for so long. So spread out the love and spread out the buying frenzy. So you want to stagger the arrival of your guests. Another key ingredient to your event success is going to be your team. Folks, your entire team needs to be on board and be ready to razzle dazzle. Everybody's got a role to play. So from welcoming guests to showcasing products and services, finalizing sales, you need to make sure that everyone is in the loop and pumped to participate. Okay, this is a non-negotiable for me. A united team is going to create a seamless experience, and your patients are definitely going to notice the difference. You need to make sure you got enough peeps, or you got to recruit some family members, some friends to help you out. So you need to ask, do I have enough people? Do I have enough people to tend to the phones, to work the front end? If not, you're going to annoy attendees and you're going to lose sales. And two, guys, you need to pay overtime if they have exceeded the hours they've worked in a day for regular work hours, because all hands need to be on deck for this. Again, you can't be a cheap ass employer and run the team ragged, but you also can't be a shit team member. And absolutely no bullshit excuses from staff. Like, oh, sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it to the event. I'd really love to, but it's my sister's cat's birthday party. And I said I'd bring the meow mix and the fog lights. So good luck, though. Fuck you. No, you're a part of this team. And I don't care if you're an independent contractor. I don't care if you're an employee. It doesn't matter who you are. You're a part of this team. We do this a couple times a year. This is mandatory. Figure it out. And I want you to put that in your contractual agreements. This is your brand. This is your baby. Anybody who's not willing to sign that, don't hire them. And if you've already got a whole team and you're going to say, hey, we're doing this event, find a date that works for everybody, but everybody is participating. It's just not acceptable if you have somebody say like, oh, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'd love to, and they give you a bullshit excuse. Honestly, have it in your employee manual and your contractual agreements that working events are a must. So if you plan on being open the day of the event, you need to make sure that your patients are gone at least a couple hours before your guests start to arrive, because a lot of people will arrive early thinking that they're going to beat the rush and get a little something extra. This is going to give you and your team plenty of time to freshen up, reapply makeup, get a fresh setup for all of your tables, your last minute things that you need to do, reviewing the agenda, having a team meeting. You don't want to be running around with your ass on fire with anticipatory anxiety for the arrival of your guests. You don't want to be cashing out a patient and having guests lining up out the door. So make sure you give yourself enough time. Guys, like it just can't be thrown together because it's so obvious when it's thrown together. And we know in clinic, patients run late. The day runs late. Give yourself a buffer. In fact, for me, event day, there's no patients booked. So you're going to make up that revenue with the event. Do your best, unless you're having an evening event. I know there's going to be the bitches out there going to be like, well, I'm doing my event 4 to 8 so I can see patients. Yeah, you can. Okay. Yeah, you can. But just be mindful. All right. So here are a few ways in which you can generate revenue at your event, because obviously we talked about it. It can't just be a party. So I recommend that you come up with creative ways to incorporate each of the following into your event offerings. Number one, always sell products. Okay. There was a couple of events that I've attended where they have laser sales on only, and the focus was on laser sales. And there was people that were like, okay, is there anything that you're doing for product? Is there any like buy, 3 products and receive a whatever, like nothing. No, there's no product sales tonight. All it did was piss people off. They left money on the table and lost sales. So you got a consultant out there telling you not to do that. I'm going to tell you, fire that person. The next one is like your laser sales. Obviously, we've got product sales. We need laser or service sales. Then you've got, if you're a clinic that offers injectables, then you've got your anti-wrinkle treatments or your injectable sales. Then another revenue stream is your memberships or your signature series bundles or package sales. And then you've got gift cards. So those are the 5 top ways that you're going to be generating revenue at your event. We're going to go over those one more time. Product sales, laser and non-laser device sales, injectables, memberships or packages, and gift cards. So now let's talk money. We want our patients to spend big. So we also need to put efforts and dollars into our event. So again, you can't have a zero budget. A high-end purchasing event needs to look the part. And so does your team. So this means you need a decent budget for decor, food, beverage, and those must-have swag bags. Honestly, it's all about creating an experience that screams luxury and makes your patients feel like VIPs. I often see where clinics expect patients to be big spenders, yet they're cheap as fuck when it comes to their marketing, their advertising, everything else in between. So if you're going to expect high-end from your patients, you better take a hard look in the mirror and make sure you're not a cheap ass yourself. Okay, let's talk about those swag bags, swag being the acronym for shit we all get. I believe that there can be attendee bags and then swag bags, okay? Your swag bags, your luxury bags are going to have a must purchase X amount of dollars or more, or if you purchase this, you get one of these swag bags. So you want to always be enticing. You can do an attendee swag bag and it can be great, but you also want to put these on display around or at your front desk to show this is what the attendee bags are and these are the swag bags. So when you purchase this, you get this. It's always about giving a little bit more if they spend a little bit more. Honestly, there's truly so much that goes into a phenomenal event, so much more that I could ever deliver on an episode of this podcast. Guys, I want your event to be fabulous, just like I want you to be fabulous. Guys, I'm a builder by nature. My gift is that I see the talent in you before you see it in yourself. This is where my passion and sometimes frustration and anger comes from, because typically I'm bitching about something. We know this. So I find it infuriating when there are so many tools out there for folks to be successful and they just don't use them because they're only dipping their toe in the fun pool of aesthetics and it's a hobby instead of a career. Like the folks that do not tap into their full potential and remain mediocre and just stay in our industry, you know the ones. And hopefully you're not the one that's licked the lollipop of mediocrity and you're still in practice. Honestly, the struggle is real for me. I want you to be an expert. I train folks in my workshops on what that looks like and how you can be an expert. Be better for yourself and your patients. Honestly, my true talent is coming up with profit strategies and training individuals to be top tier talent to deliver amazing experiences that are luxury sales training, closing on kick-ass consults, setting up treatment plans, developing memberships and different recurring revenue streams. Honestly, giving the best in patient care. All of these things are what I love and am passionate about. So speaking of fabulous, if you don't already know, I have created an ultimate event guide. It is called the Beautician Event Guide. It is a 60-page downloadable treasure trove packed with everything you need to know about hosting a killer event. You've got Canva templates, you've got an event budget tracker, like literally all the tools that you need. That is a one-time purchase and you use it over and over and it grows with you. So you want your patients to be raving and your cash register to be ringing. Honestly, what I want you to do is I'd love for you to head to thebitchandbeautician.com and use code BITCHIN15 and snag your copy of the event guide today. Thank you to all of you who have already snagged the event guide. I appreciate you. I'm so excited that you're investing in yourself to take your events next level. And really, guys, this is perfect timing for this episode and perfect timing to get your hands on the event guide, because we know going into September, October, November, December, so exclude September and December, not the best time to have events. September better. December, I like you to do flash sales on gift cards and fun things right before purchasing holiday season gifts and things like that. Guys, this was a big one. I love it. I love you. I hope you're feeling inspired and you're ready to host your own bash and make some cash. Remember, I want you to keep in your mind timing, planning, committed teams. Honestly, all of that together is going to be a recipe for success. Thank you so much for tuning into the Scalpel of Truth. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to leave a review, share it with your colleagues and friends. And until next time, I want you to stay focused and stay fabulous.
Go away to see things stay the way they are.